Hi boys and girls, I hope you had a great weekend. Today we are going to go over our new phonics sounds for this week. So you're going to need your blue reading book and open up to page 92 and 93. So we're going to start with looking for different pictures that match the sounds that we're going to be working on this week. So pause the video if you need to go get your book. Open it up to page 92 and 93. So let's listen for our first task here says, find the picture of the books. So can you find the books on these pages? It's actually on page 93. The books are here on the table. So if you take the suffix away from books, that means take away the S, what do you have left? You have the word book. Now the middle sound of book, that's the sound that we're going to be working on. So that's what the second task says. Find something that rhymes with stood. Okay, so we're looking for that middle sound, So can you find anything that rhymes with stood? Well, if you look around, you can see right here, he's picking up some wood. Wood rhymes with stood. This sheep right here, she's got a jacket with a hood. Hood, wood, stood. Is there anything else that rhymes with those? Wood, stood. Could rhymes with it, but there's not really a picture of could. You could do it. Okay. Let's look for other things that might have the sound. It might not rhyme with stood and hood and wood, but you can look in your book. That has the sound. Up here, what rhymes with look? Hook. Hooks. Hook has the sound. So that's the sound that we're going to be working on. The third task says the animal in the yard raked the leaves. So we're going to say the sounds you hear in raked. You can tap it out, stretch it out. A-k-t. Now, raked ends with the sound T. Raked. But I think if you can think back to the patterns that we worked on in spelling, raked does not end with a T. What do you think it ends with? I want you to think about it. We're going to come to that page a little bit later, and when we get to the page, I'm going to see if you can think back. What does raked end with? And it's not a T. Your base word is rake, and if you did it yesterday, you raked the leaves. What do you put at the end? It's not a T. See if you can figure it out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to that O sound, and I have a chart. Another kind of, oops, dropped my marker. It's kind of like a T chart, except I didn't make the T, I just made the line in between. These are the two sounds that O can make, okay? Now in the past we've practiced this sound. Sometimes O makes the oo sound, like in wool, like on that picture the lamb has wool. Food, there was food on the stove. And tool, they were using different kinds of tools. They used a rake, there was an axe in the picture. Okay, so those make the oo sound. We are not going to work on the oo sound this week. This is the sound we're going to focus on. O, like in the word hook. Books were on the table. Stood, we rhymed with the word stood. We saw hood and we saw wood. So O, is the sound that we're going to use. Sometimes can be made with the letter P, like put that away. Don't get tricked. This week, there is not going to be a U. The sound is only going to be made with O, and it's going to have the sound, not the oo sound. So if you turn the page in your book, you are now on page 94, and we're going to work on that O sound like in the word book, okay? So just like always, today I'm going to read it, and you're going to be my echo. And then later in the week, you should try to read these again on your own. So starting on page 94, we have the words stood, cook, good, book, look. And then our sentences, you can be my echo. Dad stood at our stove to cook dinner. Dad stood at our stove to cook dinner. Number 2. That is a good book. That is a good book. Number 3, look at that car. Look at that car. And on the next page, these are our new word ball words, so hopefully you've been practicing those in your first grade sight words book. The new ones for this week, there's only 4 of them. They are getting kind of tricky. That's why there's only 4, so make sure you practice these. I will read it and you be my echo. Among, instead, another, none. And our sentence. We found 5 books among those toys. We found 5 books among those toys. He made his house from brick instead of wood. He made his house from brick instead of wood. Number 3. None of those kids took another look. None of those kids took another look. And then you can turn the page. I want you to be thinking back to when we looked at the picture of raked and I asked you what was the ending for raked. Did you figure it out? Raked had the suffix ed, like on this page 96, raced. It has an ed at the end. So another thing that we're going to be working on, another pattern this week, is how you can add ending to words that have a long vowel, that words that end with a silent E, and it gets kind of tricky. So I started with the word chase. I'm using this as an example. The cat will chase the mouse. That's the word chase. When I want it to say the cat chases the mouse, I'm not going to add an ES. Look at that. That doesn't look right. The cat chases a mouse. I don't add an ES. I just put an S at the end of the silent E. Okay? So chase, chases. If it says chased, even though it sounds like a T, chased, it's actually an ED. Notice you don't add an ED to the word chase, because that looks funny. C-H-A-S-S-E-E-D, that's too many. So I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to X these out because that is not the right way to spell chased. Oops, put it this way. Do you see how you don't add an ES or an ED? You just add an S or add a D. The E's already there because there's a silent E at the end. Now here's where it gets tricky. If you want to say chasing, like if it's happening right now the cat is chasing the mouse. So if I want to write chasing, I'm not going to write C-H-A-S-E-I-N-G. If you look at that, that doesn't look right. If you read a lot, you can see that looks kind of funny. That's because that is wrong. What we have to do for chasing is we have to erase the E and add your suffix. So I'm going to show you, I'll write it this way here, chase. So I have the word chase. If I'm writing the word chasing, I erase the E and replace it with my suffix, I-N-G. And now I have chasing. We're going to do the same thing for hike. So I'm going to give the example for hike. If we want it to say hikes, all I have to do is add an S, and now it says hikes. If I want it to say hiked, am I going to add a T? No. It's not hiked with a T, it's hiked with an ED. Now if I add an ED to hiked, look at that. It looks really funny because that's not right. What I have to do is just add a D when I make the word hiked. So here's the base word hike. If I want it to say hiked, I just add a D. And now it says hiked. Now it gets tricky when you have to make it say hiking. We are going hiking in the woods. I can't just add an ing because look what it looks like, hiking. That doesn't look right, does it? So if I want it to say hiking, look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the word hike. Here's the word hike. I'm going to erase the E and with an ing. Replace it with the suffix. And now it says hiking. Okay? So when you're reading the word, I think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be so tricky. It's writing it that gets a little tricky. So when you do your weekend news this week and you might write, we went hiking outside, make sure you remember, don't put an E. You have to erase the E or just leave it out. Drop the E, add your suffix ing to make it say hiking. So now we'll practice reading these words though. So we have raced. Notice it just has a D. It doesn't have a double E before we add the D. And this is how we spell baking. Notice there's no E in baking because we erase the E and replace it with ing to make baking. So let's practice reading these words. I'll read it, you read it. Chases, joked, hiked, making, hiding. And then we'll practice the sentences. I'll read it, you read it. My cat chases her tail. My cat chases her tail. Ben joked with his twin as they hiked. Ben joked with his twin as they hiked. I will be making Kathy a card and hiding it until her birthday. I will be making Kathy a card and hiding it until her birthday. So you may want to go back and practice these pages again, or you can read them on your own without just listening to me read them. And you will get some practice with this ed, ing, s suffixes. These are the added endings to words. And if you get confused, you can always go back and watch this again. So I hope you have a really good day, and we will see you soon.